Good morning. Good morning to everyone. This is another Monday Live. It is Monday, and Monday, the May 31st, actually. Wow. And for those of you, I know people are going to start coming on slowly, so I'm going to start slowly. I'm kind of in a slow mode today. Anyway, not sure why. I did try to exercise, and the weather is kind of cold and gray, so that's not really pleasant. So if you're just coming on, please say hello to me. And of course, Debbie, how could I start without you? Debbie is my first one. More people are coming on, so please say hello to me in the chat box. Put your name in so I know who you are, where you're from. And if you go above the video and you allow StreamYard to use your ID, your Facebook account, you do it only once, and then you'll be able to do it. You don't have to do anything, and next time I'm going to actually be able to see your name like I'm seeing Debbie's name. Otherwise, it just says Facebook user. So if you're just getting on and you can do that for me, that would be really great. And then I will know who you are and we can actually have a conversation. And for those of you who might be new, who don't know who I am, my name is Svieta, and I run this group. And I am located in Montreal, Canada, and I am a professional home stager, property styler, house flipper, renovator, or my husband is the renovator and I'm the designer, I should say. And we've been doing that for, I've been staging homes since 2006. So now my business is primarily online, even if I do take some clients occasionally locally as well, because I like to have the before and after pictures to show you guys. But I run this group for two types of people primarily. One of them are home sellers who are looking to update and stage their house so they can get the best sale ever. And I know the market is super hot, and you might think that it's not something that's required, but believe me, it really is. You can really squeeze a lot more money out of your house if you go through the effort of preparing it and actually updating it cleverly and inexpensively, of course, and then staging it and making it look great. And I'm actually, that's my clientele number one. It's really people who I work with, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. And the other types of people who are in this group are people who are not necessarily selling or not necessarily selling yet, but who are interested in styling, decorating, and updating their properties. And again, might not want to hire a decorator to do it for them. They're kind of looking to do it themselves, but maybe are looking for some tips and guidance and advice and working with me to support them. And always, like I say, you know, two sets of eyes are always better than one. So today, I have a specific topic, and I was kind of hesitant about this topic, and I'll explain to you why. So the topic is really about the outdoors and how to stage your exterior areas. So maybe, especially for sale. Finally, someone's staging the garden. I believe that it's a super important way of attracting the right clients. Can you tell me what your name is, please? Because I can't see it on this thing. So I will tell you my thoughts and the reason why I was a little hesitant about this topic. And I finally made it. Okay, I don't know who you are. Please post your name because I cannot see it, unfortunately. Or you have to identify yourself at the top of the video. Sorry, I'm just checking to see if I can see it on my on my phone, but I can't. So I'm sorry, but if I'd like to know who you are. So Claudia, oh my God, Claudia is all the way from Switzerland, right? You live in Switzerland? Okay, now, the reason why I was hesitant about this topic is because I don't feel that I am an expert in it. And the reason for that is that in Montreal, we have very short summers, right? And so the actual staging of the properties are not taking place so much outside as they do on the inside. We tend to focus a lot more on the inside, not because we don't want to take care of the outside. And of course, it is a super important part of the way you present your property. And of course, we're going to talk about what I believe you can do to make it look better and attract the clientele. But I just don't, it's not necessarily something that I've come across a lot because of the weather conditions. And yesterday I was looking for photos to show you, and I did find some photos, but they were hard to find. They were hard to find in my files just because of the weather. A lot of times, even my own homes, which I was reselling, so we've done about 10 or 11 house flips so far with my husband. Good morning, Luna from Brazil. And what happened was that because of the seasons, a lot of times we put the house on the market in the winter. And so there's no reason for me to do the stagings outside, and just not a possibility either because everything is covered in snow. So that is why I feel that I have a little bit less experience and expertise in specific areas of the outdoor staging, but not to say that I don't believe it's important, because I do believe that it's super important, especially if you live in the parts of the world where you can benefit from spending time outside a lot more, and you include that as part of your selling process. So what I did want you to take away from today, I have my notes here. I worked really hard yesterday preparing this. My main takeaway is pretty much what somebody just said. I don't know who said it, but finally someone's staging the garden. So yes, it is important to stage the garden, not just the garden, but also whatever outdoor space you have. So it could even be a balcony if you live in an apartment. So you could even stage a balcony, or it could be your front porch, or it could be some kind of a terrace, or it could be the backyard, or it could be your deck. So whatever exterior space you have, you absolutely have to use it as an extension of your interior space and enhance it, so people will you'll get a bigger value. Because especially today, of course, that's another thing, is that I think people are really changing their lifestyles, and it's something that we'll probably be seeing for a while, because there are so many restrictions and people don't travel so much. They want the green space, they want to have that feeling of comfort, and they want to see that they can extend their living quarters to the exterior and really use all of the space they've got to enjoy life. So that becomes even more important, to use whatever space, whether it's small or it's big or it's medium, to demonstrate to your potential buyers. And I'm talking here for the sellers, because of course, if it's for you, and if you live in the house and you don't have intentions to sell, it's a little bit of a different story, because you can probably eventually, go out and buy the furniture that you really like, and maybe slowly build up the landscaping and the outdoor space that's really to your taste. But the other problem, and the reason why I am not doing the outdoor stagings as regularly, it's because it tends to be very expensive. And so if you want to put the exterior furniture, as you know, all this, really nice, today you have some amazing options, and you can put this beautiful outdoor sets, furniture sets, but they tend to be very expensive. And if you're doing it only for staging the property to sell, then it's almost not really advantageous. If you're doing it for yourself, or if you can borrow or steal or rent the outdoor furniture, then it's perfect. But if you cannot, and your budget is limited, then it becomes kind of an issue. So you have to be clever, and that's really what I want to focus on today, is how you can make it so it still looks good and appealing, but not without necessarily spending a lot of money. So if somebody's asking, perhaps it's possible to rent. Yes, it's very, very dependent on where you live. So some places in some areas of the country, you can rent outdoor furniture. It tends to be still very expensive, even for rental. And when I say expensive, like it could be I'm not sure exactly, because again, it depends on where you are, but it could easily be between $500 and $1,000 a month to rent, you know, just that set for the outside. Now, in my area of the world, and that's another difficulty that I had, the rental stores do not even carry the outdoor nice sets of furniture, because for that same reason, because Claudia can grant permission. Okay, well, you'll do it next time. Because it's not profitable for the rental store, because our season is so short. So let's say she could rent that furniture for only, let's say, maximum of 3 months in a season, maybe 4 tops. And then for the rest of the time, basically it wouldn't be used. It would be sitting in a warehouse. So it's just not, there's no turnover. And so it's not profitable. And so the stores here don't carry nice outdoor furniture. And that is a big issue, and it was a big issue for me as well, because I used to have my own warehouse, and I didn't want to go spend a couple of $1,000s minimum on an outdoor furniture that I would only be able to use for like 3 months of the year. So those are the issues of why I have less, I focus less on the outdoor staging. And it's not because it's not important. It's just, I always, either because of the seasons, or I kind of found my way around it. And I'll show you some of the pictures of the things that I've done. Now, why you have to do it, I think it's pretty obvious, and I don't need to talk about it, because it is an extension of your indoor space, and it really adds value, especially now when people, that's what they're looking for. Now, let's talk about the how and the things that you can actually do. And as you know, for those of you who know me, I always try to find ways of doing things cleverly and not necessarily expensively. So I always try to find ways to help you do it yourself, or borrow from people, or find solutions that would allow your house to still be appealing and look good, but without necessarily spending, you know, a big budget if you don't have it, especially when you're selling your house. So I've pulled out some basics, and I want to show you. Let me show you here. I'll just share the screen just for a sec. I'll just share my screen. I'll show you. So like I said, you know, I was trying to pull some photos. And why am I not able to share my screen? Oh, here. And it was not necessarily easy for me to find some photos from what I was telling you, but I just want to show you. Okay, so this is kind of an extreme example. And it's a very old example. I did this a long time ago. I hope you guys can see me here. You see me? Yeah, you're seeing me. So I did this a long time ago. Are you seeing my picture? Yeah, just say yes, because yeah, nifty and thrifty. Yeah, that's right. So this is an extreme example, and I could not let it go. And as you can tell, this was in the summer, and it was very overgrown backyard. So the guy who was selling the house, and I still remember, I know who it was, even if it was probably over 10 years ago, actually. But, you know, we had to do something, but he didn't necessarily have a very big budget that he wanted to put for the outdoors. So we did end up enhancing it, and I'll show you the end result. So basically, this is what we did. So they had to open up basically they had to work really, really hard on cutting out and cleaning out. That was the first thing. And this is really the basics that I definitely recommend. This is where everybody should start, no matter what your budget is. So they had to clean out and cut all the bushes and clean out all of the yard and make it, like, you know, nice and looks much bigger, much more appealing. And then all they did, well, you can see that there's a new deck that was built. But then all we did was really just to put some fresh grass and those carpets, because we needed a fast solution. So it's much faster to do that way. And we didn't necessarily, I don't remember, to be honest, like, I don't know if we went all the way. I'll just stop sharing for now. If we went all the way to to like setting up nice furniture and stuff. I actually don't think so, because maybe we didn't have the budget, but you can tell that at least if you start with that, that already makes a humongous difference, right? Can you see that? Can you just confirm to me that you're seeing what I'm showing you? Because all of a sudden I'm having doubts that you're still with me and you're seeing it. So I would say the first thing you need to think about is what you already have, and that's always something that I teach. Let's look at what you've got anywhere. You know, when I said what you've got, do you can you have borrow stuff from your friends, your family, your neighbors, anybody you know, and what is your budget? So when you're allocating, perfect. Oh, Lindsay is here. Okay, I can see that, Lindsay, and then I see Facebook user that said yes, but I don't know who you are. So you have to determine, you know, what is your budget, including the outside, or you can split it inside versus the outside. And then what is the pieces of furniture or anything that you could smartly reuse, because it tends to be expensive as we were saying. So I would say the first thing you do is start to declutter and tidy up your area, whether it's the front, the side, or the back of your house. So that is a non-negotiable. So, and anybody can do that with a little bit of patience. And Adriana said, yeah, she can see the pictures. They're not that great, but thank you anyway. So first cut all of your bushes, and actually we did that in the last house that we sold. Unfortunately, actually I did have some pictures, but I didn't think of putting them on. But that was a kind of the same situation. That house that we purchased was very, very overgrown and basically not maintained at all by the previous owners, the backyard. So the first job that we did do before we did anything else was to really clean out the whole of the backyard and cut down all the bushes and open it up. And then, oh my God, what a difference it made just there. The yard looked twice the size. And then we did build a new deck in the back, but then the winter came, and when we sold it, we actually sold it in February of this year, February or March. And so we were lucky in the sense that we didn't need to spend additional money on putting the grass carpets down, because we sold it with the snow on top, right? So people probably had a little bit of a surprise when the snow melted, but it is what it is. The yard was not completely finished. I couldn't finish it. So then once you did that, I would say the other non-negotiable that everybody should and can do is definitely clean all your spaces. Make sure that you don't have any cobwebs, you don't have any weeds, and then pressure wash your your driveway, your front porch, your backyard, whatever you can pressure wash to make it nice and clean. So those are the things that everybody can do. And yes, they do require a little bit of elbow grease, but they don't necessarily require a lot of money. So far, so good. I'm just gonna mark down what I talked about. Now, this third step, again, this is what I showed you on the picture, is that you can improve your lawn. So if nothing else, if you don't have a lot of money, you definitely either put the grass carpet, which is a good solution because it's very, very fast. And if you water it every day, then it grows, very beautiful, very quickly. But if you can't do that and you want to save some money, and if you have some time, then the other option is to put the seeds. And, I know Claudia is on with us, and Claudia is actually a big gardening expert. So this is what she does. That's her expertise, is gardening. I'm not a gardener at all. I'm not a green thumb at all. So that's a little bit more of a difficult topic for me. But I know that just putting the grass down and then trimming all your bushes and basically doing minimal landscaping without going overboard if you're selling. So I'm not asking you to spend. I had a client last year, and before she met me, she went ahead and she spent, I think, $7,000 or $8,000 on the backyard landscaping with a professional company, which she kind of regretted after, when she met me, and we worked together on getting her house ready for sale, because she realized that she could have done just few small things, but without necessarily investing that money into landscaping, which does not necessarily come back to you. So I guess maybe this is Claudia, right? And she says, do a major yard cleanup, exactly, weeds, pruning, mulch or pine straw, grass cut and edged. Power wash the house. Yeah, that's what I just said. Driveway and walkways. Clean the windows and light fixtures, of course. And then put some planters of real flowers. Yes. And then she's given my whole talk. She already covered. A patio just needs a planter of flowers and a couple of $20 colored Adirondack chairs. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm going as well. So I'm just going to continue, but it's exactly pretty much what I'm saying. And Adirondack chairs, I think they're a little more expensive, especially the wood ones, but we can always find cheaper plastic solutions. I agree. So, we're always add, that was my next topic, is add flowering plants and flowers even in pots and baskets. So this is what I do, because I told you I'm not like a super amazing gardener, and I don't particularly enjoy it. I'm trying to learn how to enjoy it more. So, but just adding some flowering either in the ground, the annuals or perennials, or if you can do that, just buy like a big, pot and put some flowering plants or just flowers and sit it on your front porch, maybe in the backyard. You can put it on the back deck, even on the balcony. Even if you just have a balcony and let's say you're selling an apartment, you can do that as well. And that's going to make a huge, huge difference. And, for a couple of $100, you can get an amazing, amazing look with flowers. So that is, again, something that we highly recommend. And let me just show you what else. I had a picture. Okay, I want to show you, speaking of Adirondack chairs, let me see. I don't think I didn't share my screen, so you can't see what I just wanted to show you. So I'm going to share the screen again, and I'm going to show you something. It's actually very, very interesting. Several years ago, I was asked to do, it was for a TV show, and they one of those what are they called, real life TV shows where they're showing people supposedly shopping for homes and choosing property, choosing the right property for them. So this particular house was, and we had one day where literally had 24 hours to stage 2 homes, which were like 2 hours away from Montreal. It was a very, very crazy, crazy project. But this was one of the 2 homes, and it was tiny. It was an absolutely tiny shack, and I didn't have much to work with. But what I did is, they already had those chairs. So basically, I just kind of rearranged the chairs, and we brought with us, it was fall, as you can tell, it was not summer anymore. So you couldn't really find a lot of flowers available anymore, but I still found some pots of, I forgot what they're called, not geranium, chrysanthemum, or I think the winter fall flowers. And I brought a couple of colored pots of flowers, and we set them up there. So that at least it made it look better. Using the outdoor candles, that's a great suggestion, Adriana. So my suggestion was actually any kind of lighting. So that's another thing that you could put on your list of how to enhance your backyard. You can put lanterns or electric, those little strings of lights, mums, yeah, something like that, chrysanthemums or mums, yeah. And you can add candles. It's a very good idea as well. The only thing with candles is that A, could be dangerous, B, is the wind can blow them, and C, you don't necessarily control when people come. You're not going to necessarily put them on every time somebody comes for a visit. So you have to be a little bit, it's beautiful for decoration, but it's probably not something that you're going to be using for actual lighting up. Now, one very important point that I think you should all remember is consider privacy. And I know for me personally, and for a lot of other people, having a private space, like I don't want my neighbors, and I have that problem actually in my own house. We had to build the maximum height fence that the city would allow us, because we have a really, really bad, annoying, and disrespectful neighbor. And he was like literally looking over into our private space all the time, to the point where I didn't even want to go outside. I didn't want to spend time outside. So we kind of solved that issue by building a high fence. So you don't necessarily have to build the fence, because it, again, you know, if you're selling your house, it might be expensive, but you do have to consider the privacy issues. And remember that most people, that's what they want privacy. So what can you do with your little area, whether it's a balcony or a terrace or a back deck, to create that sense of privacy? So for example, some ideas could be screens, and or the drapes. So you can put some outdoor curtains, outdoor drapes, or you could put some screens, and they're privacy screens, right? And there's like trellis, the lattice, and even if you want to go even further, and if you have time to go further, you could have climbing vines. But that takes time, so you might not have the time for that if you're selling the house. But at least I remember doing that many years ago in my other house, which was a semi-detached, so I had neighbors very close, and to have some privacy from them, we just created a screen on one side of our deck, and we put trellis, which would still allow the light to go through, but would give us the privacy. So I think this is a very important consideration that I wanted you to be aware of. Now, let's go back to your deck. If you have a wood deck, then I definitely recommend that you check its condition. If it's rotten, you probably need to replace some boards, or at least you have to stain or paint it if needed. And this is something that I always tell my clients when we look at the outside of the house. Besides the regular maintenance of washing the windows and everything else, I think doing that for your deck is very important. So, you know, you can find a solution that's not very expensive, but it's going to make a huge difference. Let me show you something here. I just want to, let me see. Oh, I wanted to show you something cute. Okay, so this is, I found that in my old pictures. And this is, you see, is very, very simple. And that really is what I wanted to show you. So it's a small balcony in the front, very, very Montreal. We have something very specific where the staircase to, let's say, second or third floor apartments is often a wrought iron staircase that is on the outside of the dwelling. And so these people just have, you see, like a small balcony. So what we did is we were able to purchase a very small bistro set. And this is one of my main recommendations for you today. If this is not expensive, you can buy it at a drugstore or Walmart or any, you know, any not expensive, even ordered on Amazon online. So it's probably under $100. And it creates this look, right? It creates, I could have put maybe some flowers on it or something else for the day of the shooting, but for the pictures, but I guess I was not there that day because I would have added something on. But even then, just having simply that already makes the space so much better, right? I hope you guys agree. So it's not necessarily so you know, perfect, but it shows that we gave it some thought and we created the appearance of, like, people are thinking in their mind, they have the impression, oh, this is so nice, I could come out here and sit here in the spring and the summer with my cup of coffee or my glass of wine and enjoy, you know, people watching. That's what we do in Montreal. We do people watch. Privacy use. So Claudia confirmed that, yeah, privacy is important. And Luna said that she used LED candles. That's such a good idea. Very, very good idea. Perfect. Okay, if you have a cement deck, that's another thing. So again, you have to look at the condition of your deck. But if it's not in good condition, that's where I really think you should put some effort in and you should paint it, because it's going to make such a huge difference. Always pick a neutral color if you're going to paint it. You know, go with gray tones or beige tones. Don't go with something crazy. And then the other thing you could do is to add an outside exterior rug. And by adding an inexpensive exterior rug, again, you can create, first of all, you can create areas. If you happen to have a big outdoor space, you can create a sitting area separately, let's say from your barbecue area or your fire pit area or your dining area, but also it gives you a lot of warmth to the space. And here I really want to show you what actually my client, and she is in this group, Diane, I don't know if she's on with us today or not, but I stole these pictures from her. So those are the pictures we worked on together. This was the house in Florida. And if you, I don't know if you guys saw her posts a couple of weeks ago, she's been posting and saying how she made over $200,000 more on the sale of this condo, which she needed to sell just by doing paint and reorganizing furniture, decluttering, and maybe she also bought some things in thrift stores. Anyway, this is her screened outside porch. She calls it lanai. You know, that's a Hawaiian term, I believe, for the exterior screen porch, but whatever it is, it's a sunroom. Let's call it the sunroom. So that was her photo from before. And then what we agreed on, and the floor was in a very bad condition, but you don't see the floor here. What you actually see is, from what I recall, it was a very old and in a very bad shape, some kind of a brown, disgusting rug or carpet that was glued. So something needed to be done, and so we debated for a while, me and her, or what we can do. And then the decision was taken that there was no choice, so that a carpet had to be pulled up, and then underneath the cement was not in such a good condition. Again, we discussed, and then finally, this is what she did. We ended up with just taking Benjamin Moore paint. It was exterior paint for cement, so specific paint. That's the color that we chose. And she had a painter, professional painter, who painted the rest of her house. He also did that. He did an amazing job. And she purchased this exterior rug in a very neutral, kind of natural fiber bamboo color toned. And this is how she staged her sunroom. And, you know, you have to agree that the difference between that and this is absolutely spectacular, right? So this is what Diane did, and it gave, I mean, that and everything else, I mean, gave her $200,000 over the asking price, right? So I hope you're seeing all these pictures and enjoying them. So it's showing you, you know, what can be done to enhance your space. Thank you, Adriana. So now let's talk about the furniture specifically. So that is where I think a lot of people have difficulties because of the cost. One of the things I need to tell you is that you really need to consider the scale of your furniture proportionate to the size of your space. So if you have a small balcony, you don't need to put a lot of furniture. You can maybe just put that like a little bistro set, like what I showed you. If you have a big space, then it becomes kind of an issue. And that's where it tends to become very expensive if it's not something that you already own. So you have to think about what is it that you already own that you could reuse. Maybe just some wicker chairs. Like you really need to get creative and try to trick the space. And this is what I'm really good at. I have the eye, like, how can we reuse? Maybe we can take some, you know, bench or a chest or some chairs from somewhere else and reuse them. Now, maybe we can just use one area of your terrace. So if you have something that's a large space, but you don't have the money or you don't have the appropriate furniture, my trick is to just stage a corner of that space by limiting it with an area rug, an outdoor area rug, and then maybe putting just a couple of chairs there with a little table, and then putting some nice potted plants. Because if you put 2 or 3 or 5 big plants, they really occupy the space. They create that illusion of greenery and tropics and make it look really attractive, but without necessarily a huge expense. So think about, what is the space that you have, if it's a small space or it's a big space. If you have a front, you have to create some seating. That is very important. So think about how you can create the seating, but without spending a lot of money on a big set. So maybe just a couple of chairs would be enough. I would say if you can, go with a more of a neutral color furniture, but then you can really create this pop with the colored cushions. And of course, you can get the waterproof outdoor cushions. That's what I recommend. And then you create that effect. And even for photos, what I used to do if my photos were taken in the summer, you could add, I went to the dollar store and I just bought like a plastic water or juice pitcher with a couple of plastic glasses. They were plastic. And then I would create the illusion of lemonade just by putting some water and a couple of slices of lemon in there and then setting it out on the table outside, maybe with some colorful napkins, to just for the photo shoot. Okay, so you don't necessarily, maybe you can't keep there all the time because it will fly away with the wind, but at least for the photo shoot you can do that. And we discussed the lighting already. And another thing, if you can, okay, let me show you again. I just want to show you some picture here. And again, this is like amazing, amazing picture. This is, I have not done that. I wish I had, but it's one of my clients, and she was in, I believe it was in Nevada, in Las Vegas. So you can see it's a tropical backyard. It's small, but it's gorgeous what she did. But in reality, if you look at it, it's something that's quite simple. So she just put 2 wicker chairs with a little table and umbrella, and she decorated it with red colorful cushions. So that is a very clever way of staging your small outdoor space that looks absolutely fantastic, in my opinion, and I hope you think so too. So let me know what you think. Do you like it? Let me know what you think of the way of the staging that she did, but with what she had. So it was not necessarily super expensive. So let me know what you're thinking right here. And then I wanted to also very quickly mention the fire pit. So it looks really fun, Claudia. Yeah, it does. It looks fun. It looks inviting. It looks, very tropical. You're in the desert. So it's, I think she did a fantastic job. And if you are allowed to have a fireplace, an exterior fireplace or a fire pit wherever you live, then definitely that would be my recommendation as well, because people today, they love those kind of features. And it's really attractive. So you could have a seating area with a fire pit or a portable fireplace if you can afford one, or if you know somebody who you can borrow it from, that would be great, even if it's just for the photos. And then you create a sitting area around that fire pit. So maybe you can have a separate dining area and a sitting area, or maybe you can just have one, if you don't have a lot of space, you can just have a sitting area. And then let me see, I think that was pretty much all I had. Yeah, and on the front porch was, if you have a front porch, it's very, don't complicate it. Maybe just have a couple of nice chairs there, wicker chairs, or like even a bistro set with 2 chairs, and some nice pots of flowers, and Adriana suggested like those big lanterns, maybe some candles, and that's all you need. Make it nice and inviting and simple, and that's good enough. So let me show, I think I have a couple of more pictures to show you, and that is going, yeah, so this is not finished. This is my own house, not my own house. Well, it is my house, but it's a house that we recently purchased, and it's still work in progress. And all of those things were left to us by the previous owner. So I did not buy anything yet. And because we've done a lot of renovations on the inside, I'm kind of trying to minimize my investment on the outside for this year. But what I've done is I found this area rug that the lady had. It's obviously too small, but I will make it work. So those chairs are Adirondack chairs. I'm just gonna position them differently. I was just trying things out. I also on the weekend discovered that they had two long lounging chairs also with red cushions. So we're gonna set up an area here where we have that little veranda above the pool. The pool hasn't been cleaned yet. It's going to be done this week. And then I'm planning to go and purchase a couple of flowering baskets, those baskets on a hook that will allow me to, and I will hang them from the top, from the roof, because I'm not a gardener, and also because the previous owners had a lot of crushed stone here, and we just don't have the time this year. It's just too much of work, because I want to rent this place out. So we're not going to be changing the rocks there this year, but at least I will put some flowering pots there, and I will add, you don't see it, but I already have 2 buckets here, 2 like big pots with some flowers in them. So that's the best I can do. Now, Claudia, if you have any suggestions, easy suggestions for me and for other people, because like I said, I'm not good with plants, and every time I go to a plant store, I kind of freeze because I don't really know what to buy. Yeah, very nice color. I love it. I think I'm going to play with that red. It makes a lot of sense, and I can't wait to make it a little better. So that is the official part. Now, I wanted to surprise you and show you something that you can actually, so let's say you can't do anything, and you do have a back porch or something, let's say here, right? And you just cannot maybe afford, or you don't have the time to actually stage it. I mean, at the minimum, I would want you to put some flowers, some plants there, and maybe at least a table with some plastic chairs or a sitting area. But there are circumstances where you cannot do that. So this, my friends, is virtual staging. And for those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that this is a service that we offer. But the reason I wanted to put this picture up here is because I wanted to show you that you don't necessarily only have to do it on the inside. We can do it for your exterior as well. So that is an option. If everything else fails, we get a picture, a photo of your exterior space, and we virtually stage it for you to show potential buyers what it could look like, right? So that's pretty cool. Tell me if you like it. That's cool, right? It almost looks real, yeah. And I do have several other ones. I just, I just wanted to keep this short. We're already at 40 minutes. And so, but I do have a lot of other examples. So if any of you are interested, or if it's something that you need help with, you just let me know. So I wanted to show you what Montreal looks like, okay? This is my stagings. This is the reality. And now you understand why I don't focus as much on the outdoor stagings as I do on the inside, because 9 months out of the year, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but only slightly, this is what we deal with. So backyards, this is very, very downtown area. So it's old houses, and they're like colorful, and I just thought it was pretty. But, this is the snow. So for people like Adriana, who maybe never even seen the snow, this is what we've got, and this is what I have to work with. Okay. So I guess this is Claudia. She says, I would love to recommend planting native perennials or sow flower seeds when early in the season. Yes, that's a very good idea. And all I know is that irises and tulips are bulbs, and they have to plant them in the fall to have them come up the next spring. So that's great for people who have the time and who are not selling their house, so they can enhance. That's what I try to do. So successfully. I try and fail, then I try again. But you can build up your garden that way. But if you're actually, when you're actually selling your house, and you might only have 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month before you put your house up for sale, you need to find quick solutions. So that might not work. That's why I'm recommending, you can put annuals and just put them in the pots. Now, the last thing I want to tell you is that I just want to remind you that my business, and this is a business, my business is to work with my clients to help them get the most money possible, to squeeze as much money as possible out of the sale of their house. And it doesn't matter if the market is good or the market is not good, because today, right now, we can make things happen for you, and we can make sure that you can squeeze as much money as you can, either in a situation that might be a little bit more difficult, like some people who live in certain rural areas, and it might be a little bit more difficult for them. And for the ones where the houses sell very quickly, we can still squeeze more money out by creating multiple offers. And so I do want to invite you there. I have a couple of offers that I want to remind you of. One of them that is a online consultation. It's an hour and a half on average, and it's $197, and you can do it for a lived-in home. And we go through everything. This is for people who are selling. So it's called the Home Staging Accelerator Session. So for people who are in a rush, for people who kind of have the idea of what they want to do, but they just want my eyes on their property. We do the outside, we do the inside, we go through, walk through your whole house, and we build an action plan and my list of recommendations of what you need to finalize to make sure that your house showcase at its best. So that's called the Accelerator Session. It's $197. And if you are not selling, but you're still interested in getting my opinion and my advice on how to organize your house, then I have this little special that I don't really talk about much because the price is very low, but I am willing to do this. If you want to contact me and try something out, it's one room, could be exterior if you want my help on that. So one room, 1 hour, $97. And that is really to discuss whatever challenges or ideas or wishes you might have to enhance and beautify one of your spaces in your home. And we put our heads together and we discuss your challenges, and I give you ideas on how you can fix those things and how you can make your house look better. Basically, it's called styling. So those are the two things I wanted to mention. I will be posting probably more info on that this week, because I need to keep reminding people that I am a business, and so I do need to make sales, and I do need to work with clients. And this way it also allows me to have one-on-one work, but also allows me to have pictures to share with all of you. I do invite you ladies to submit pictures, to post them in the group. Well, anything that has to do with decorating, styling, or selling. So you can, we're talking about the outdoors, so if you have anything you want to contribute, please put some pictures and show us how beautiful your staged areas are, whether it's to live or whether it's to sell. And Luna, thank you, Adriana. So yeah, I did run a decorating one-on-one workshop. It's a little 2-hour workshop that I did last week or so. Yeah, last Monday. It is probably going to come back, but not for a couple of months. It's something that I do on every 2 to 3 months basis. So and I'm thinking about maybe running something else, another little event, a couple of days, 2-3 day event, but a little bit later on in June. I'm still minding myself to it because it's a lot of work, a lot of effort. So I'm here for you ladies, and if anybody has any questions or wants to talk to me, I'm easy to access. You can comment in the Facebook group, or you can send me messages on one-on-one, and I'll answer each one of them. Thank you very much for being here with me today. And we're almost at 50 minutes. This is crazy. So I wish you a very good rest of the day, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.